And this is Irina Sokolova, who is actually the colleague of Yulia. They work at the same school, the Rabindranath Tagore school. She is also a Hindi teacher and orientalist-Indologist. She has also visited the Vishwa Hindi Sammelan in Fiji. And she develops programs and elective courses for teaching Hindi in primary and secondary schools, along with supplementary education programs for gifted children that deepen their understanding of Indian history and culture. She's also the founder and director of Ratna, a studio specializing in Indian folk and pop dance. She's going to probably continue the topic started by Yulia, and we will hear more about how to introduce the Ramayana and Mahabharata to our kids in Russia and worldwide. You're welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. Namaste, sab logon ko. I'm a Hindi teacher at the Rabindranath Tagore School. This is the only secondary school in Russia where Hindi is taught. This is a unique school where we teach not only the language, but also the culture of India. Okay. One of the most important parts of studying Indian culture and Hindi lessons is studying the literary heritage of India. Underlined with the Puranic tales and myths, much attention is paid to the great epics of ancient India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Hindi course for each grade, starting from the 6th, included topics related to Indian epic. The great epic Ramayana is a very large and complex work. And the study of the literary heritage of India in our school is built on stages and the grade. Acquaintance with the start of the beginning of the second year of the study. We connect it with the mythology of the autumn calendar festivals of India, Navratri, Dashara, and Diwali. Then we move directly to the epic itself. However, studying Ramayana is difficult because it's not only the literary monument, but also its real encyclopedia of Indian mythology and philosophy, life and tradition of ancient India. Russian children have no idea about all of this, and many concepts simply do not exist in the Russian language and Russian everyday life. To overcome these difficulties, we have created an adaptation of the epic that takes into account the age of children and their level of proficiency in Hindi. Next, please. Namely, adapted the text itself in term and grammar and vocabulary. Introduce a minimal but necessary amount of new vocabulary that causes difficulties in translation and understanding. Structured and simplified the plot following the canvas of the Ramayana. Created genealogical trees of the main characters of the Ramayana for a better understanding of their interaction in the plot. We have created special exercise on vocabulary and grammar related to the heroes or story, the Ramayana. We tell some mythological stories related to the epic in Russian. We give ideas and explanation about mythological and fairy tale creators. We talk about the cultural tradition of ancient and modern India. Now I will tell you in more detail. Next, please. The story of the epic is adapted for children's audience. The text of the adaptation is composed taking into account the initial level of proficiency in Hindi vocabulary and grammar. Therefore, the text in Hindi consists of grammatically simple sentences. The text is composed in such a way that its first part, students recall the grammar course of the previous school year, including the following topics: present common tense, present past tense, simple prepositions, pronouns, numerals, plural nouns, वगैरह. For example, Максим, нужно переводить Hindi? We need translate Hindi, no?
Do we need a translation from Hindi into English, or what is written
Hand
there?
up, किसी को चाहिए ना? Okay.
चाहिए क्योंकि सब लोग हिंदी नहीं जानते हैं इधर शायद बस 20%.
For example, this very simple text. In ancient times, there was a kingdom called Kosala in northern India. The biggest city in this kingdom was Ayodhya. The king of this city was Dashrath. The king had three queens, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. Kaushalya was the eldest. Kaikeyi was the youngest. She was Dasharath's favorite. Based on simplified text, we also introduce children to the geography and history of India, the location of the great ancient kingdoms and cities of Kosala, Ayodhya, Videha, Midhila. Please, next. At this stage, we also introduce the necessary amount of new vocabulary which are difficult in translation and understanding, as well as terms and concepts that are absent in the Russian language. We suggest guessing the meaning of some new words. Swayamvar, Raja, Rani, Guni, Rajkumar, Rajkumari, Vagera. Please, next. One more, please. For example, this way. Please, next. The first part of the text lists the main characters of epic. And for better memorization of them, we prepared a special lexical and grammatical exercise. They are related to the main characters. Next, please. Давайте я попробую. Не работает? For example, this is
पूछ सकते हैं लोगों से तो राजा दशरथ की कितनी रानियां थी? How many wives did King Dasharath have? Who knows the answer, especially among the students?
How much?
King Dasharath, the father of Ram, how many wives did he have? Who knows the answer?
He had 3 wives.
I wanted the audience to react.
Yeah. कौन सी रानी सबसे बड़ी थी? Which one the eldest was? Kaushalya. And who is his favorite? This is Kaikeyi. For better understanding of the interaction in the plot, we have created genealogical trees. Any translator?
Well, I can.
Kaushalya had one son, only one son. His name is Rama. Sumitra had 2 sons.
Ирина, давайте спросим у зала, кто ответ на вопрос. That was my effort, just translated. So who knows the names of a child of KK out of students? Кто знает, как звали сына царицы Кайкеи? Подсказку выскочил. Ну где? Кто ответит? Студенты.
Sumitra had 2 sons, twins, Lakshman and Shatrughna, and Kaikeyi had only one son. His name is Bharat. Since for Russian ear, the characters have very long and complex names, we presented those names in the form of rebuses for make the meaning, origin, and components of a complex name more clear and understandable. For example, Dashrath, Rath, Dash mean 10, Rath mean courage, and all. Raja's name, Dashrath. And then Dashagriv, who knows the second name of, this is the second name of Ravan. Dash means 10. Griv means neck. Literally, Dashagriv. Next, moving along the plot, using new vocabulary and repeating and studied grammar, we try to memorize the main characteristic of the main heroes. This is Rama, the main hero. Very simple question. Ye kaun hai? Who is this? It's Ram. Давайте вернем. Можно продолжать? राम किसका बेटा? राम राजा दशरथ का बेटा. राम के कितने भाई हैं? राम के 3 भाई हैं. This is all for very small children. About 10 years old. कौन सबसे बड़ा भाई है? राम का. राम की पत्नी कौन है? Who is the Ram's wife? You know? Sita. And for example, Sita के बारे में, about Sita, questions, and about Hanuman, and goes about Ravana. This is numerous. ये कौन है? राक्षस रावण. ये लंका का राजा है. इसका दूसरा नाम, you have known Dashagriv. इसके कितने बाह है? इसके कितने सिर है? But the Ramayana is not only a immortal story about love, loyalty, and heroism. The epic contains a lot of information about Indian mythology and philosophy. Life and tradition are completely unknown to the Russian children. Following a compressed and structured plot based on the canvas of Ramayana, we gradually introduce ideas about mythological creatures, rakshasas, Vanaras, Apsaras, that have no analogies in European and Slavic mythologies. The basic of the avatars concept are explained in Russian using the example of 10 canonical avatars of Vishnu, including Buddha. Top Vanar, Asur, Rakshas, Adi. In the second and other part of the adaptive text, new grammatical material is introduced, the past perfect tense and obligation. The day of Swayamvar came, many princes gathered. The competition began. The princes came near the bow one by one, but all were unsuccessful. The king was very sad to see this. Ram turned calm. He reached near the bow. As the story progresses, special attention should be paid to the nuances of the plot as well as to the traditions and customs that are not found in the Western society and that cause surprise for children. In the custom of polygamy, raising children separately from the family and competition of suitors of the Swayamvar ceremony somehow fit into the behavioral canon, given the antiquity of what is happening, some other aspects of the story are very difficult to perceive. Most of all, the children are surprised by the ending of epics. The natural happy end for most is and they lived happily and after. Evil is defeated, and the heroes should receive a well-deserved reward. Therefore, the motivation for the actions of some characters is not clear for students. For example, the expulsion of Sita, her humility, and her final decision to leave the world at the moment when everything should have been fine. The murder of Bali, not very heroic from the Western point of view, also raises questions. And one more thing, the burials of the hermit Shabari. Of course, the deep philosophical meaning of these events is impossible for children to understand, and they could be left out of the summary. But in all Indian retellings and interpretation of the epic, even for children, these events are an integral part of the plot. They are reflected in cartoons, comics, and various translations. Questions have been answered. But still, it's my personal experience. The Ramayana is one of the most vivid and memorable topics of the entire Hindi language course at school. First of all, because the acquaintances with the epic occurs in childhood at the impressional age. And then, it is vivid, captivating, and multifaceted work is itself. Later, when students encounter mentions of the events, terms, and concepts of Ramayana in other topics of the Hindi course, they grasp new material related to this more easily, and recognition boosts self-esteem and motivation. But we believe that the main purpose of introduction to the great cultural heritage of India, the epic Ramayana, in Hindi lesson at school is not only the study it from a linguistic, literary, and historical point of view, but to stimulate students' future interest in the history, culture, and tradition of India. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much for having coined a few really interesting ideas, and I'm sure that such tests and presentations and study materials will be interesting not only for school kids but also for our students, university students, especially first and second year students, also kind of not really kids, but it's really interesting and exciting to study the epics and Hindi grammar and vocabulary at the same time to enhance the vocabulary. Probably we'll be able to share with us that study material. We'll also offer it to our students. Are there any questions, please? Or any comments, any sharings, any thoughts, ideas? Задавайте, пожалуйста, вопрос. Yeah, we have a question.
Just a curiosity. I was wondering, see, when we sort of read the Ramayana, Mahabharata, often the caste dimensions, certain caste dimension of the Indian society come to the fore. For example, the Ram eating the fruit of Shabari, right? That's a very nuanced act on the part of Ram. And
yes, we know, but it's very surprise for Russian children.
Right. So I mean, yeah. So are there some kind of a difference which has to be explained to the students?
Yes,
that
yes.
This is the problem in India, but not
explain.
necessarily a problem elsewhere, right? So those kind of explanations, are they sort of part and parcel of
first
the
glance is very surprised, so surprised.
Right.
We explain, of course.
Explain, right. And also Shambhuk and such. Obviously, these are open to interpretation.
We tell
but
them
then-
it's so kind woman, so cute woman.
Right.
Yeah. She tried to eat it for give present to Ram. Yeah.
हम ऐसे ही समझा सकते हैं कि जाति पाति पूछे ना कोई, हरि को बजाए सो हरि का होय। तो मतलब ये है कि श्री राम जी के लिए सब लोग उनके प्यारे भक्त हैं, तो कोई लोगों के बीच में कोई अंतर नहीं देखते हैं भगवान श्री राम।
Shukriya.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions, thoughts, doubts, ideas, sharings? I will ask a question. What is the let's say, minimum age of kids that can use this material for their studies? So for which class are they developed? The minimum one.
We start to teach Indian mythology by the first level of Hindi course. This is the 5th class.
The 5th class, so it means the age would be around 9-year-old, 9-year-old kids. 9. Well, that's interesting.
Next level is Ramayana. Next level is parts of Mahabharata. Like Ornamenty, Parikshit, or next level, Mahabharata in short stories.
Okay. Thank you very much. We end with those keys, and we are calling Madam Madhurkan Kanaroiji on stage. There's a question.
Yeah.
Masha?
Thank you for the presentation. It was nice. My question is, do your children study Ramayana in Hindi? It's only Hindi, so it's a combination of language lessons and study of Ramayana.
This is a combination for us. Was the 6th level? Is it the simplified?
Mike, please.
Yeah. This is
Please
all,
speak to the
oh, sorry.
mic.
The first level, the children is very small. Course the necessary we can to teach in Hindi. But in Russia, we retell them history, other terms. We retell them about festivals, traditions in Russian too. This is combination.
Do you observe really interest that
Yeah.
your children have for
Yes.
these kind of studies, for these kind of topics?
Yes.
How to make Russian children and students interested in the Ramayana? Is there any special way? You can share the secret.
In our school, we have 3 Indian dance studios, and every festival in our school, our children take part in this festival, the programs about Indian mythology, and then they represent their interest in this state, on the stage.
Okay, so regularly.
Always to take part in all our programs.
Thank you very much.
That's very good, because really what I observe that even institute students are not very keen or are not very interesting to study. Look at the auditorium. They got stuck to their mobile phones instead of listening. It's actually drama. It's actually really bad things that happening all over the world.
They're
not only
taking
in Russia.
notes. They're taking notes in the mobile phone.
Oh yes,
Whatever
I
they're
hope
listening
so.
to.
You must take
So-
away this telephone.
So I hope so. So that is why I really believe that your interest, your personal interest from the first glance, and your ideas that you share with your children from small age till I think class 10 or
Right.
11.
Yeah.
So it's really great job, and it's really a great influence that your children have, and I admire this. So thank you very much for your passion.
Thank you so much. By my own opinion, this is not only philosophical, the great heritage. This is a very interesting story for children too. It is interesting story for me, and I can translate it to my children.
Yeah, just to explain a little bit that our Hindi students, for example, specializing in Hindi language, are volunteering today. So this is why probably most of them are doing some work. And yeah, but I'm sure that they're very much interested.